Hi everyone. I was about to start actually speaking in Spanish because I was just speaking in Spanish. So I remember this one's in English. So okay. Hi everyone. Good afternoon. I am very happy to see all of you here, and I'm talking to everyone that will be seeing the Instagram live later in the future. Right now, we are here about to have an amazing conversation with our special guest for today. Emmanuel is another Conscious Bioexistence consultant certified in the area of business and economy. Hi, everyone who's joining. Emmanuel has joined. Let me see if he requests to jump on the Instagram live. But in the meantime, I was saying we are both consultants certified in the area of business and economy. Hi, Maximo. Hi, Natalia. Thank you for joining us. And we're going to be talking about a fascinating subject that is the subject of anxiety. And I'm going to wait a little bit on this because I don't want to give all the information out right now. Here he is. I'm going to... I don't know what you are drinking right now. I was barely able to make myself some coffee. Hi, Emmanuel. How are you today?
Hi, Juanita. Thank you.
I'm very happy that you were able to fit a little bit of time in your schedule in order to jump on board on this Instagram live in order to have this conversation about a subject that is so important, and I think that has touched so many lives, especially in the recent years, which is anxiety.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for having me here. I'm really happy. It's an honor for me to be here with you. And yeah, I'm thrilled for this. So thank you. Thank you again.
No, it's a pleasure. I am constantly trying to find people who wants to come on board and talk a little bit about symptoms and things that happen to us from the perspective of conscious bioexistence, because at least for me, it has been such an interesting life ever since I was able to start applying this philosophy as on a daily basis. So I think that sharing a little bit about this is making my universe a little better, because everyone out there is pretty much one of my fractals, so as you will know.
Yeah.
Okay, so Emmanuel is a fellow consultant. As I was saying, we are certified in the area of business and economy, and here I would like to talk a little bit about what does this mean. There are many consultants that get trained within Humano Puente in order to apply conscious bioexistence and in order to be able to assist people in their process of understanding their symptoms and transforming their life. As certified consultants, what we do, even though we're focused on the area of business and economy, we tend to apply this to pretty much every case that we receive. And it's the fact that we have constant training in a place or a group that is called the pack. That's why I sometimes post things saying like I'm in a meeting in the pack, which is in Spanish. In Spanish, this stands for like a portal or of constant opening. And we call this opening because we are learning how to open our minds in order to be able to guide these processes and understand how reality is constantly speaking to us from an origin place in terms for us to transcend a symptom. So we are constantly improving our approach. We're constantly putting cases out there. These are based on economy or personal finances or things that are related to that. But we, again, I mentioned we apply it to every symptom. And this is why right now we have Manuel here. Even though we are specialized in the area of business and economy, we're going to be talking about a subject that is anxiety, that might not seem related, but I don't want
But
to
yeah,
feel.
yeah. Once you start this path, you become more and more aware that every symptom has this connection with other symptoms, and and some things that might be not connected at some point, they truly are in the origin of the symptom. So tonight today we're gonna talk about anxiety, but we also gonna see how the economy maybe affects anxiety, how maybe, I don't know, infidelities come to affect anxiety as well. So there are many things that might be affecting someone who's actually having this symptom, this uncomfortable symptom as anxiety is. So we're gonna see how much, well, interconnection we have between the symptoms, and we're gonna try to find out what could be like the real origin of the symptom, because every symptom, is like an unsolved story for our ancestors, for our family tree. So I think it would be nice to remember what a symptom is,
That
what condition we
that
use the symptom.
okay. Um, First, I think that before we jump on board on what a symptom is, because I think that is very, very valuable for us to put on the table for people who have not been seeing the previous Instagram lives, or who are having a first approach with what conscious bioexistence is. Let's define a little bit about what conscious bioexistence is. Can you, Emmanuel, please give us a little bit of a short definition, because we can, I think, speak for hours about what conscious bioexistence is, but just a short summary of what conscious bioexistence is.
Sure. Well, I would say it's a path, it's a conscious path that we do in search for the origin of any symptom. I'm calling a symptom anything that's uncomfortable to us, anything that we're not living, plain, we're not living joyfully in our lives. So we try to find the real origin of this symptom, and in order to do that, we have to like walk down a path that we call bioexistence, a conscious bioexistent path. So in order to do that, we have to acknowledge that every emotion we have had in our life, every emotion that we couldn't express at that moment, it doesn't disappear. It just accumulate within us. It like it's like I don't know, like bag. We start to feel heavy in our lives, and at some point it becomes so heavy. That's where a symptom like get to like a notification that we've been like carrying it so much, and maybe we didn't even realize we haven't. So what we do here is try to get the client to acknowledge how many times did they like maybe they couldn't express something, something really like a trauma, like something really heavy, really annoying, like rage, like hatred, I don't know, like heavy emotions, like animal emotions that began to change the way the life was going, So I think a conscious bioexistent path, it would lead us to the real origin of a symptom, So that being said, this path has many like stages, the first stage we call the timeline, and we go back into the client's memory till, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years old. And then we go back into his pregnancy and we analyze what happened to his mother during the pregnancy. And we realize then how much of these emotions that he learned in that moment, that during the pregnancy, is now becoming more and more like a repetitions during his present life. And that is like, whoa, that's really
That
to really understand that everything that we live here in our present, we learn it during our pregnancy. That's amazing.
that is correct, and it is something that is, I think that's one of the things that you actually start understanding once you begin a conscious bioexistence path, and it's that there are really no coincidences in regards to the situations that present yourself in your current lifetime and that actually take you away from your center or from your balance, because everything that's happening here is an echo of something that happened in the past that we as souls have created in our reality in order to transcend and transform and learn from it. So that is like the deepest aspect of conscious bioexistence, but being able to understand how everything is pretty much like a play that you are reenacting here, that it's an echo of something that happened and you are trying either to find a resolution to it or to try to avoid it in order to stay alive, is what is really, really interesting. So I would like to ask you, Emmanuel, what is like the next step that we follow after we do this timelines in which we go to this present time of the person and release all of those emotions that were stagnant there, that were stopping time, and you know, making this person carry such a big burden. And then the time in which we go to our intrauterine experience and we are able to understand what was happening when our mother was pregnant with us. What is next in this path?
Well, we then go back in time, just back into the past, into a stage we call like project and meaning. That's the name we use, but like project life, project meaning. That's just a way to analyze everything that happens to our mother and to our father and how they met. What were the circumstance they met, what happened at that time with I don't know, the family, what things were happening, I don't know, in economical aspects and political aspects during that time, everything that they endure, everything that they had to transcend in order for me to be here. Well, that is actually crucial to our life, whether we know it or we don't. So it's really important for us to have this time to analyze those aspects, because once we do it, then we will understand how much of this symptom that might be maybe anxiety or whatever symptoms we got here, how much related are those things they endure to our symptom, and especially to the message our symptom is trying to give us. So it's like going back more and more in time, be like really going back to our family tree, family aspects, our ancestors, to understand that we in nature, in life, we got like two different ways of transcend a symptom, a trauma. That is, whether we repeat it or whether we try to resolve it. But the thing is, we don't have many other options. So it's really important to understand, it's really important to know the history in order for us to understand in what stage of this conflict we are right now. What are we doing? Why a symptom comes to our life? If we just stick to our mind, our present mind, our conscious mind, it's like it's like not being able actually to see the whole picture now. Just the mind has like a close perspective of life, like our identity, who we think we are, is like it's good for us. We need it, like an ego or something. But the thing is, once we really go, once we actually transport ourselves back into those histories, then we can truly understand like the origin of the symptom and how much it is related to the history that brought me here. So it is important for us to analyze the whole story, not just our timeline, not just our memories.
That's correct. Also from the perspective of conscious bioexistence, and being that we chose this family tree because it has the appropriate structures for us to come and transcend this symptom, we need to go and analyze that, because those are the places where we had actually left the keys that are going to say, okay, this is what you need to understand about the whole situation, and like the background that you decided to come and incarnate in. Because everything that you put out there is like you're setting up the stage for a play, but everything is going to be designed in order for you to be able to have more possibilities of transcending and experimenting, experiencing the symptoms in many different aspects and facets. And that's why it's so important for us to go to our ancestors and see first the situation, like you well explained, the socio-economical situation of the country, and what was happening within our families, and like which tensions could be present that are actually marking the dynamics that we have nowadays in this life. And after we do this study of the situations, which would be like the project life purpose stage that we study, and we go and see the family tree dynamics that we were explaining, then what happens?
Well, then we have a great opportunity doing what we do. That is to place ourselves in our ancestors. We do like this ceremony that is with our closed eyes, where we put ourselves in those identities. Since we are all connected by our subconscious mind, we can access those memories. I know sounds, weird, just what is this? But actually, it's pretty normal. It's pretty, it's easy to do it once you do how, once you know how to do it, and once we get there, we will be able to confirm that our lives are just, echoes, are just memories brought back from those past. And what we're doing here is trying to resolve what they couldn't, and once you do it like several times, you become more aware that they are you actually. So it's a whole new identity you get once you do this. Just your identity actually expands. You're not only who you thought you were, but you gain like those, I don't know, powers or identities or like gifts. It's so precious to actually know what you're made of. You're not just made of who you think you are. So that's where our journey ends. That's where we actually understand the whole thing, the whole story of our symptoms. So the thing is, our symptom is always trying to get us there. Just like a train. That's the final station, to understand who we are, not only to solve a symptom. Just understand who we truly are.
That is correct. I think when you were just talking about this, it came to my mind like the thought of maybe a 3-year-old kid looking at someone riding a bike and telling them it's so easy. You see, you just had to get on top of this thing, you have to pedal, you're not going to fall, and you will be able to do it. And you can have all the technical explanations, but until you have tried for yourself and understand how it works while doing it, it can be a little challenging to understand. But we are here to guide you through the process. It really is a wonderful process that is going to transform your whole reality. And again, as Emmanuel said, it's not just about removing a symptom.
Yeah,
It's
and it's not only about knowing which conflict, origin a symptom. Is not only to understand it. You have to live it. You have to do it in order to truly understand what it means. It's a practical path.
Yes, correct, 100%. And you will get to experience all the different facets of the symptom. It's also part of experimenting or experiencing yourself in many dimensions, I think, from very different perspectives. For one, let's say that the symptom is like this cohesive line that is going to enable you to do all of this. So
Yeah,
that it's a little bit of a long introduction on the symptom that we are talking about today, but it will make sense for you once Emmanuel starts talking a little bit about what anxiety is and where it can be taking us to. So, Emmanuel, we were talking about many different symptoms that we could talk about today, and the symptom of anxiety resonated with you. And then when you mentioned it, I thought it was an interesting symptom that I have actually experienced at several moments in my life, but it's not the symptom that I go to sessions for. So, can you explain to us a little bit about this symptom?
yeah, sure. Well, it's a fascinating symptom, in my opinion, because it brings us the opportunity to actually understand how time works, how many of our maybe fears, maybe, I don't know, traumas, it it actually they they got generated during those past lives. Anxiety has a message as any other symptom, and that message, it is uncomfortable. It's not pleasant to have anxiety. It's not pleasant to have any symptom. But anxiety is like an alarm. It starts like ringing. It's like a sound. It's like a sound in our mind that keeps telling us that something bad is about to happen, and we don't know what it is. We don't know uh, from from where it's gonna happen. When it's gonna happen. So it's really frustrating for us to be like in a constant like state of I don't know, fear, and so the thing about anxiety is that those fears we got, they're not us. Those fears are someone else's. you know those fears, I mean, in the origin is everything about us, but if we get, in order to explain this, we have to know that whatever our mother has experienced during our pregnancy, it will affect us. Whatever our ancestors have lived, it will affect us. So the thing about anxiety, the first question we have to ask ourselves is, when did it start? Like, it is something I have, like, since I got memory. It started when I was, I don't know, maybe 30 years old, because that is going to give us a clue, you know, the first like step into the resolution of the symptom, because then we'll be able to understand what is that we're living in this, I don't know, maybe at this 30 years old that I am now, and I have this anxiety starting, and I don't know why, I don't know how it started, but, well, the thing is, I have to analyze, what am I doing here? Maybe I just finished my studies. Maybe I just, I don't know, become a parent. Maybe my father got divorced. I don't know. I have to analyze those things in order to transpose this to other ancestors' life. I have to go back into the family tree history to analyze whether this that I'm living here right now, it somehow, it seems like similar to whatever some ancestor lived. And I have to be really careful about this, because then I might acknowledge that what they have lived ended in a tragedy, you know, ended at something that went bad. Maybe someone died, maybe someone left, you know,
Yes.
maybe there was a trauma that my subconscious mind is trying to warn me about.
Yes. So it makes actually a lot of sense right now. So I like to, when I'm having these conversations, and I think that whenever we are in a group talking about this from a place of consciousness, you're able to do something that is called like linking process, and then you're able to understand things that happen. And I was just, as you were speaking, able to understand one situation in my life in which I was feeling pretty anxious, and it was related to a partner I used to have a couple of years ago. And the fear was like this terrible anxiety in relation to um, getting cheated on. Like, I
Mm.
was terrified of getting cheated on. And I remember that were nights and nights in which I was like awake and suffering from these anxiety episodes. And then now that you talk about this and how you mentioned that they are talking about this echo in the past, this ancestor is actually related by dates with my grandfather. And my grandfather is someone who was actually uh, cheating and ended up leaving his wife, and that caused like a big separation. And he was a person that was not seen for several years. So there's like this subtle death in that moment, and it brought a lot of pain and suffering to the family. So just with what you're saying, I am making the connection that it is in relation to that, like that anxiety without apparent reason of me thinking that this was about to happen. It's not that it was about to happen, it was my unconscious mind trying to warn me of a story that happened higher up in the family tree, and that was actually very painful and brought this separation that you're talking about.
Yeah, and it's always like this. The thing is, not not always we can see it, but if we search for this story, you know, it is there. The repetitions are everywhere. So doing this, path, it allows us to truly compare these situations, to understand what my subconscious mind is trying to let me know that could happen right afterwards. I'm do this. I just, I don't know. Like I was saying, I just finished my studies. I became a professional. I become a parent, and then this structure, these facts are really similar to something maybe my grandfather lived, and since the subconscious are connected, are the same actually, well, maybe he lost his father after that. Maybe, maybe, maybe he experienced the loss of his father. So once here in the present moment, I again become a parent, finish my studies, become a professional, then my anxiety is trying to let me know that a death is coming. So how do we deal with it? Well, not at the present time. We have to go back. Yeah? We have to do several exercises to go back in time with closed eyes, and some exercise we do during the consultations, and we repair, rewrite the history at some point, and at that time we will tell us our subconscious mind that there is no actually threat here. Just we're free to live our life without the fear of repetition of what happened. So that would be like the best that could ever happen to us, to actually heal the symptom, but having acknowledged who we are, because to our mind, to our subconscious mind, I am that grandfather. So it's not that linear, it's not that simple. We have to go and analyze the past in order to improve, to heal the present, because always the present is only an echo from those past.
That's correct. I wanted to ask you, um, what things have you found on your personal consultation in relation to anxiety? Because if I understand correctly, what we refer to anxiety here is kind of like the lighthouse that is kind of trying to point us to a specific conflict that is behind it, correct? What type of conflicts have you found associated to the symptom of anxiety, or stories associated to it?
That's really interesting. I've found many stories, many different stories related to anxiety. And I would say, as I was saying, it's like an alarm linked to an aspect. It might be an economical aspect. It might, what I found were stories about great losses, house losses, economical losses, and also what you were saying moments ago, like cheating histories, like I don't know, maybe infidelities. So persons who have lived like losses or traumas that are linked to economical aspects and cheating aspects. Those are like the first in the list. The more the more, I don't know, aspects I've seen.
Yes, the one that I was telling you about is comes hand in hand because, of course, his grandfather lives, and then there's like this big split in terms of the money that was available for the family, and then other dramas come associated with it, but
Yeah,
it comes hand, just what you're saying.
yeah. But also, but also there are stories about, um, getting pregnant. You know,
Mm-hmm.
just getting pregnant, and that is enough. For starting to feel anxiety, but it's not the same for every woman. So why? So then we got stories about difficult pregnancies, uh, pregnancies that didn't end well, you know, death and and trauma. So maybe if my grandfather was called John, and I'm John right now. Whenever I become a parent, I start feeling anxious. I don't know why. If I really truly want to be a father, and I don't know why. Once once I get to do it, once I get to be a parent, I just can't control myself. I just I wake up at night. My air, I can breathe. I feel all the time like something bad is about to happen. So there you got a story about who got pregnant and then something bad happened. I have to analyze that.
Yeah. Okay, that's very interesting. It almost seems related to like this warning sign that you could expect from something like an infertility story, like associated with someone. Like, so it could almost be like this person has the anxiety when they get pregnant, but then the sister or the brother are the ones that are going to manifest like the problems with infertility because there are stories associated to problems with the pregnancy or deaths in relation to a pregnancy.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's something that we actually talked about in my last Instagram live, in case you don't know what we're talking about, like a link between infertility and economy. You will find the explanation on what are the bases for us to treat an infertility and what we call a hidden infertility. So we're not really going to talk much about it. We're just kind of mentioning it here. Um, I wanted to talk a little bit about a big moment in recent history in which we were, as let's say, a community going through periods of anxiety. And this is something that I was actually learning today from one of the Instagram lives that Pablo Almazan um, had a couple of years ago, and in relation to the whole COVID pandemic. And because all of the anxiety cases pretty much spiked up. I don't know if you were able to see that one.
No, I haven't.
Okay, I'm just gonna talk a little bit about this. I know that you know about the subject, so you could probably pretty much chip in. But what I was learning today, and it's very interesting, is that in COVID, what happened is that in most cultures, people were forced to go and stay locked in a house. And the first house we have on this earthly experience is our mother's womb. So all of those who were suffering from anxiety while they were within their while they were locked in and not being able to just roam freely are actually bringing into the surface different echoes of situations that were happening when their mom was pregnant with them. And like the key in order to see where these stories could be associated or where they could go are in relation to what is it that was causing you the anxiety. Is it the work aspect? Is it to be in a close proximity with your husband? Is it your kids? Is it not being able to, I don't know, roam freely? So all of those different things, I thought it was like a little interesting fact to give here because a lot of people suffered from anxiety around that time in that stage.
Yeah, and that reminds me the importance of actually analyze and not only analyze, just to experience this womb reprogramming we do in one of the stages of this path, to truly relive and to analyze our mother's emotions during our pregnancy, because we cannot have a, a, a symptom like this, like anxiety, if our mother hasn't experienced it during our pregnancy. It's like we actually cannot experience this in our life if our mother has not have lived anything, something related to anxiety, something made her anxious and truly, like, really anxious, for us to experience this symptom during our life. So it is crucial to analyze our mother's history, our pregnancy. And I'm not talking about what she was eating at that time. I'm talking about what things, what fears she had,
Yeah.
what you know what made her anxious about her life, about, I don't know, maybe our father, maybe the, I don't know, economical aspects, political aspects. And once I do that, I will be able to understand how similar this is to what I'm living right here in the present.
Yeah. And just to explain a little further into like the biological aspect of this, there is an actually a pretty good book that is called The Biology of Belief, written by Dr. Bruce Lipton. And he explains how our cells have a great capacity of understanding their environment, because let's say the brain of the cells, even though it was believed that it was in the nucleus, is actually on the cell membrane, and therefore our cells are constantly analyzing the environment they're at. And when they're at their fastest growth rate, which is when they're within the womb, they are constantly checking this environment, and this is what he calls epigenetics. And it's not just about what foods was she taking or not. Her emotions, as Emmanuel just mentioned, are highly important because they are going to release a lot of chemicals into the system, especially those associated with fear, like cortisol. But what the cells do is that they analyze this environment is filled with cortisol due to X situation or Y situation. However, my cells are still developing and growing at a high rate, at a high speed. So this environment is actually good for me to develop, and it ensures my survival. And therefore, in my grown-up life, I'm going to continue creating the situations that I had during that early developmental stage. That's
Yeah.
the biological aspect of it, which is a little bit of that part for those of you who want to hear that side.
And you mentioned there a crucial word, that is what we do create, because a part of us actually truly believe that we have to repeat the history. We have to repeat what our mothers experienced during our pregnancy, whether that was joyful or it was painful or it was something traumatic. Our subconscious mind, that is, who creates the reality we got in front of us, it doesn't judge whether it's nice or not. It judges whether that transform itself into more life or less. It was something that created life, or it was something that killed it. So if it created like we are, living right here, right now. So everything that happened to a mother, will, our subconscious mind, it will try to generate it again and again and again, including traumas. So it's
Exactly.
crucial to get back there into those memories, to like split those beliefs, that we need those things back.
Yes, in order to survive, we are going to be needing that environment. And once that is what happens from your unconscious mind, but however, once you become conscious and aware of the different structures that were occurring during those times, then you're able to. This is, I think I would like to clarify this. We go through life from living from a place of unconsciousness, because our biological unconscious mind is pretty much directing every decision, as well as the different unconscious identities that we carry on ourselves. And all of this is a survival mechanism, because the fact that you are here today means that you are the greatest evolutionary success that the species had so far, right? And in order to do this, in order to keep you all, or bring you all the way here, there are so many different stories that have happened in your ancestral line that have taught your unconscious biological mind a lot of different lessons that you're not supposed either to repeat, or that you are supposed to repeat in this life, because even though you don't think it's a good thing, it has led you to being to you being standing right here. So that is a little aspect that I wanted to clarify, because sometimes we don't really know from which position we're acting. We don't really know why the situations are repeating themselves here, which is what Emmanuel just was saying. And it's important that once that you understand that once you begin this process and you start making the unconscious conscious, you will be able to transform your life. And once you come from this place of understanding, you will be able to make different decisions, not guided only by your survival instinct
Yeah,
mode.
and it's, in my opinion, it's truly like important for everyone to know, especially clients, that takes time.
Yeah.
In a world where we used to, I don't know, the Instagram time, 15 seconds attention and not all. It is crucial for us to give us the time to heal, because it's a long process, because there are long lives out there in our past, and they're not in a hurry. They they got plenty of time to whisper those repetitions, whisper those experience they had in order for us to survive, because that's it. That's the whole purpose of it, to get us safe, whether we're not happy about it. And that's what a symptom is trying to do, to save our lives. Because like we were talking right a moment ago, anxiety is trying to warn us about a tragedy. Something is about to happen, and you have to be ready. You have to be extra ready to not to suffer again. Like that grandparent you got.
Yeah.
So every symptom actually is trying to get us safe, get us, to be to be here a bit longer, not to die. So it's trying to save our life, actually.
That is correct. Emmanuel, I don't know if you would like to add a little bit more to the symptom of anxiety, or would you like to see if there are any questions that any of the viewers might have in relation to this symptom?
yeah, if there's any questions, of course, it would be nice. I found, well, what we do is being able to understand the true origin of the symptom. It is also to understand the connection, the link that is between this symptom and other symptoms, such as panic attacks, such as phobias. So the thing about our subconscious mind, it's like a machine. It's like the, I don't know, maybe internet. It's like a computer that that record every aspect of our life, whether we are aware of it or not. Um, we know it's not the same. Uh, Maybe a panic attack, that having anxiety, but doing what we do, we also know they're really connected. They're really, because there are stories that are very similar in the conflict beneath those symptoms,
What
such as
thing?
some such as something bad is about to happen. You know, something bad happened, and that's why. You know, so a panic attack actually is like a louder sound, you know, of anxiety. Living with anxiety is like a, it's like living with a sound, like a constant sound, like it gets annoying. But maybe if we turn up the volume a bit, you know, just it becomes heavier and heavier to live with those, with that sound. And I think I can't live anymore. I think it's something really bad is about to happen. I'm about to die, and that's a panic attack.
Yes. So pretty much like a distinction for people watching this, it could be kind of like you have chronic back pain, and that would be anxiety that is all the time telling you there's a problem with your back, versus you get stabbed or shot in your back. Like that's like the level of let's say uh, potency that is behind the symptom, and kind of like the difference, but in the base aspect of it, they tend to be like the same conflict, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Between um, what you can find in a panic attack, for it to be just such a big, strong force, versus what you find in an anxiety symptom.
Sorry.
What is the difference of what you find when someone presents a panic attack versus when someone presents anxiety?
Well, back into the conflict of a panic attack is always about someone dying. Someone died in that history. You know, some, maybe was a, I don't know, an ancestor. But the thing is, it's like closer to me. The thing about panic attack is like it's really close to my story. I've lived it. I felt that someone is about to die. I saw someone die. Maybe I don't know. Like death was surrounding, and I saw it. I felt it. Then
Yes.
my subconscious mind, maybe that was when I was 12 years old. And then at that moment, my subconscious mind recalled every aspect of that scene. Like it was during the day, it was during the night, what temper it was, what was I wearing, you know, what I was with my sister maybe, and we were at the mall. I don't know. The My subconscious mind, it records every aspect of that traumatic scene. So after that, maybe I'm 30 years old, I go to a mall, I'm with my sister, and I'm wearing like same color sweater, and I have a panic attack.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. And I don't recall that time. My mind doesn't make the link, but my subconscious mind, it doesn't forget.
Yes.
And
So, sorry.
someone is sorry.
No, I didn't want to interrupt you. I was just going to say what you're explaining right now, but finish your explanation, please.
No, and that's it. My mind, it doesn't link it, but my subconscious mind, the one who doesn't forget anything, is whispering and maybe shouting at me, someone's about to die again.
Yes, that's correct. What Emmanuel is explaining right now is something that we consider to be a base of any allergic format. And we have a very specific approach for this because it's like the unconscious mind pretty much takes a picture, but let's say a sensory picture, because it also captures smells, sounds, and everything that was happening in that situation. And that is an approach that we use in order to address that. I think it's a fascinating subject because it's also something that we can use in allergies. But right now we are unfortunately running out of time. We are 3 minutes away from it being 6:30.
Yeah.
I don't know, like to jump on board on another Instagram live with me, and maybe we can continue this conversation because there's so much more to panic attacks that actually I did another like linking process of that in relation to my own story. And in allergies is such a broad subject that a lot of people feel related to because they suffer from it personally, and this mechanism that Emmanuel started explaining. But right now, we have to finish this Instagram live.
Thank you very much.
To just finish asking you one last thing, which is how can people get in touch with you in order to schedule a session with you?
Well, through Instagram, it will be great. Yeah. Through this same Instagram, maybe a direct message, and I will respond and give that client that all information he needs.
Perfect.
It will be a pleasure.
Same, you can send me a direct message if you want to schedule a session, or for us to understand if we are right to work together on your symptom and begin a consultation path. Again, Emmanuel, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for the invitation, Juanita. It's been an honor. It's been a pleasure to me.
It has been a pleasure to me too. Thank you for enlightening us about this fascinating subject that comes close to home.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you so much to everyone that joined. Andrea, Alejandra, Maximo, I saw you there. Thank you so much. I hope to see you again after.
Okay. Bye, Juanita.
Bye.